Hello, I am Sandra James, Class 1 Mathematics teacher. Today we are going to learn a new chapter. This is the last chapter in your textbook and the title for that chapter is Introduction to Multiplication. Multiplication. This word multiplication is new to you. So I will spell it out for you. multiplication. This is a new word for you. Now children, multiplication is in fact one of the most important operations in the whole of mathematics. I know you have already learned addition and subtraction. Like addition and subtraction, this multiplication is also one among the four of the basic operations in mathematics. We call them the fundamental operations in mathematics. There are four fundamental operations in mathematics. One is addition, one is subtraction, one is multiplication, and then there is division. So today you are being introduced to the operation multiplication. Now we are going to see what it is all about. So let me show you a picture. Here you can see on the screen. What do you see on the screen? Yes, they are apples. They are apples. Now we are asked how many apples are there all together. Of course, the first thought that will come to your mind will be to count them one by one, and it is easy also. So how do you go? You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is how you count them. Yes, and that is correct. There are 6 apples altogether. Now we are going to look at another way of seeing how many apples are there. If you look closely, you can see that these apples have been grouped. Okay, and how many such groups are there? Very clearly 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 groups of apples. And how many apples are there in each of these 3 groups? Let's see. So look at this group. How many apples are inside it? 2 apples. Yes, correct. Same way, the second group is also having 2 apples. Same way, the third group is also having 2 apples in it. That means here we have 3 equal groups of apples. Equal groups as in each group there is exactly 2 apples. So now we are going to see another method for counting the total number of apples. And this is in fact using the new method, that is the multiplication method. Let's see how it is done. So in the first group, how many apples are there? Yes, 2 apples are there. What about in the second group? Yes, again there are 2 apples. How about in the third group? 2 more. Yes, equal number of apples. So to see how many apples are there all together, you add them. Yes, 2 plus 2 plus 2. This is repeated addition. Children, this is repeated addition. So what is the answer for 2 plus 2 plus 2? You have learned skip counting, haven't you? Yes, you have learned skip counting. So, you skip and count from 2, right? 2, 4, 6. So, how many apples are there all together? Yes, 6 apples are there all together. This is how we found the total number of apples using repeated addition. Now we are going to write the same thing in terms of multiplication, and this is how you do it. Now, as we all know, there are 3 similar groups. So, I am going to write that 3 groups are there. Yes, 3 groups. And how many apples in each group? Yes, 2 apples in each group. 2 apples in each group. Now, I am going to introduce a new symbol here. I am going to introduce a new symbol here. Since there are 3 groups and in each group there are 2 apples, you write it like this: 3 times 2. See children, this symbol right here is the symbol for denoting multiplication. Remember, you had symbols for addition and subtraction. Which were those symbols? Yes, it was a plus and a minus. Right here we have a new symbol and this is read as times. Okay, so how do you read this? 3 times 2, and 3 times 2 is nothing but first time 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, again 3 times 2 is 6. So, the answer is 6. You know that the answer is 6. This sentence right here is called a multiplication sentence. Remember how you learned addition sentences and subtraction sentences? Just like that, we have another sentence here. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Here we have used the symbol which looks kind of like an X. It's read as 3 times 2 is equal to 6, and that sentence is called the multiplication sentence. So, did you understand how this sentence came to be? 3 times 2. Why did we use 3 times 2? 3 denotes the number of groups. Yes, 3 groups. And 2 denotes how many are there in each group. You can see in each group there are 2 apples each. That is why you have written 3 times 2 is equal to 6. I hope this example was clear to you. We have introduced a new symbol, that is times, and we learned how to write a multiplication sentence. In the same way, we are going to see another example. So, I have here a second example for you. What do you see on the screen? Yes, you see buttons, colorful buttons. Now, here also the problem goes like this. How many buttons are there all together? So, we are simply going to see how many buttons are there all together. See, the first thought that will come to your mind will be to count them one by one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that is not what we are going to do here now. We are going to use the new method which you learned just now, that is the method of multiplication, and going to find the answer. Okay? So, how do we do it? First, what we are going to see is how many groups are there. How many groups are there? Looking at the picture itself, you can easily identify how many groups are there. How many are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 groups are there. And how many buttons are there in each group? Yes, let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with all the other groups. So, how many buttons are there in each group? 4 buttons. So, 4 groups, in each group 4 buttons. So, let me just write it down for you. 4 groups, in each group 4 buttons. Now, how do you calculate the total number of buttons in the picture? How do you write the multiplication sentence here? First you see how many groups are there, 4 groups. So, here it goes, 4 times, this is the number of groups, 4 times. In each group how many are there? 4 again. So, how do you write this? 4 times 4. 4 times 4, we are going to see the same thing in repeated addition form. Okay. 4 times 4, as the word denotes, 4 times 4. So, I am going to write 4 one time plus a second time plus a third time plus a fourth time. This is 4 times 4. See how I have denoted it in repeated addition form? Okay. So, you can either use skip counting here, that is 4, 8, 12, 16. You are jumping 4 steps each time, that is skip counting here. 4, 8, 12, 16. Or else you can add like this, you know 4 plus 4 is 8. Then you add 8 and 4, 12. Then you see what 12 plus 4 is. Okay, this here is 6 and this here is 1. So, what is the answer? 16 is the answer. You can choose either of those methods. You can either skip count or you can add and see. So, how many buttons are there altogether? 16 buttons are there altogether. See, this is how you do this in multiplication method. So, we have found out that there are 16 buttons altogether. Now, let us see another example for the same multiplication. This is your last example on calculating how many objects are there in total. Now, as you can see in the picture, we have teacups here. What are they? Teacups. You can observe that they have been grouped. Equal groups they are, equal groups. How many such equal groups are there? Yes, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups are there. How many teacups are there in each group? Let us see. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So, in the first group there are 3 teacups. How about in the second group? Same, 3 teacups. That means 4 equal groups. In each group there are 3 teacups. Now, we are going to see how many teacups are there altogether. Let us write it down like this. 4 groups. 4 groups. 3 cups in each. 3 cups in each. Now, how do we frame the multiplication sentence here? Yes. 4 times 3. 4 times 3, because 4 groups are there. In each group there are 3. So you write 4 times 3. 4 times 3. How do you write that in repeated addition? 1 time 3 plus a second time 3 plus a third time 3 plus a fourth time 3. 4 times 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3. How do you find the answer to this repeated addition? You can skip count. 3, 6, 9, 12. Otherwise, like I told you, you can add up and write the answer. Now, 3, 6, 9, 12. So, what is the answer? 12. Yes, there are 12 teacups altogether. See children, this was multiplication. What is this operation called? Multiplication. Yes. So, you find out how many objects are there altogether using multiplication method. Multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. And now you have seen several examples of how to calculate the total number of objects using multiplication method. Now, we are going to see a few word problems using multiplication. In the first part, I have already taught you how to do multiplication, how to write multiplication sentences, and which symbol do we use for writing a multiplication sentence. All that you have now learned. Next, we are going to see a few word problems using multiplication. So, shall we begin? Right here on the screen, you have a question. Let me read it out to you. There are 2 flower pots and in each there are 5 flowers. How many flowers are there altogether? Write the corresponding multiplication sentence. See, as you can see in the picture, how many flower pots are there? 1, 2 flower pots are there. How many flowers are there in each of the flower pots? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same here, 5. So, how many flowers are there in each of the flower pots? 5. So, here again, flower pots we are taking as groups. 2 flower pots are there, meaning 2 groups are there, right? 2 groups are there. And in each group, how many flowers are there? 5 flowers. 5 flowers in each. 5 flowers in each. So, now how do you calculate the total number of flowers using a multiplication sentence? Let's see. 2 flower pots, that means 2 groups, times how many in each flower pot? Yes, 5. So, 2 times 5, that will give you the total number of flowers. So, let's see how we obtain the answer. 2 times 5. You know multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. So, how do we write this? 2 times 5 means I will write 5 one time plus 5 a second time. 2 times 5. See? 2 times 5. We all know what 5 plus 5 is, right? Yes, 5 plus 5 is 10. So, how many flowers are there? 10 flowers altogether. This is how you write the answer for such questions using the method of multiplication. Altogether there are 10 flowers. See, the first thought that will come to your mind when you see such questions will be, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But no, here in the question it's asked, write the corresponding multiplication sentence. So you have to write this sentence, form repeated addition sentence here, then find the answer, then write 10 flowers all together. Okay, is this clear to you? Is this problem clear to you? Okay, then we are moving on to another word problem. What do you see on the screen? Yes, you see balloons. Do you like balloons? We all love balloons, isn't it? Yes. Now, we have a problem here. Okay, that is a word problem, and the question is like this. Suppose for Marisa's birthday party, her father is buying 3 clusters of balloon. Why I am using the word clusters of balloons? Cluster is the collective noun for balloons, right? You have learned it. Yes. So, he is buying 3 clusters of balloon for her birthday party. Now, in each of the cluster, you can see how many balloons? Let's see in this cluster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So, in each of the cluster, there are 6 balloons. That is, in each cluster, there are 6 balloons. How many such clusters are there? 3 clusters. Yes, very good. So, then how many balloons did he buy altogether? You got the question? Yes. Now, you are going to find the answer using multiplication. How do we write this? 3 clusters, 6 balloons in each. Yes, 6 balloons in each. There are 3 clusters and in each cluster there are 6 balloons, right? Now, how do we find the total number of balloons? Yes, we need to write a multiplication sentence. How do you write it? 3 times. 3 times. Why did we write 3 times? Because 3 clusters. Now, in each cluster, how many are there? 6 balloons are there. 3 times 6 will give you the total number of balloons. How do you write 3 times 6 in repeated addition form? 1 times 6 plus a second times 6 plus a third times 6. Okay. Now, 6 plus 6 plus 6. You can find the answer either by skip counting or by adding them together. 6, 12, 18. That is how you skip count. Otherwise, you know 6 plus 6 is 12. Now, you see what 12 plus 6 is. Yes, it's 18. So, how many balloons are there all together for her birthday party? 18 balloons are there all together. Now, this problem you have understood how to write the multiplication sentence, how to write it in repeated addition form and how to find the total number of balloons. So, we have learnt the chapter Introduction to Multiplication and we are going to learn the very last concept in that chapter. This is the last part of your chapter 15 Introduction to Multiplication. Do you remember what multiplication is? Yes, it is repeated addition. It is repeated addition. How do you write that repeated addition? Using a multiplication sentence. You have learned it now. Okay. Which is the symbol that we use to denote multiplication? Yes, it's a times symbol. You call that times. And how do you write it? You write it like an X. All this you have learned now. Now, we are moving on to the last part of this lesson. What do you see here on the screen? What are they? Yes, they are stars. They are blue stars. Now, here you see a set of stars. The same set of stars I have put here another time. Okay. So, this and this are the same. Here we are going to see two ways, okay, two ways of writing multiplication sentences for the same thing. Clear? Two ways of writing the multiplication sentences for the same thing. Let's see how it is done. You are asked how many stars are here. That is the question. How many stars are there? We are going to make the groups here, and like in the previous examples, here there are no groups. We are going to group these stars and we are going to find out how many stars are there all together. Let's see. So, I am planning to group them like this. Group 1, another group here, a third group here, and a fourth group here. So, how many groups did I make? 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups. Now, children, can you tell me how many stars are there in these groups? 1, 2, 3. Yes, in this group there are 3 stars. What about this group? Same, 3 stars. What about this group? Again 3 stars. That means in all the 4 groups there are how many stars? 3 stars. Okay, so you have 4 groups, 3 stars in each group. 3 stars in each group. Now, how do you calculate the total number of stars? 4 groups. So, you start your multiplication sentence like this. 4 groups means 4 times. How many in each group? Yes, 3 in each group. So, 4 times 3. How do you find the answer for this? 4 times 3. Yes, using repeated addition, 4 times 3 means 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. 4 times 3 you have added. How do you find the answer for 4 times 3? Yes, you can either skip count or you can add them. Yes, 3 plus 3 means 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. So, how many stars are there all together? 12 stars are there all together. Now, this answer we got when we have grouped them like this. Okay, now what we are going to do is the same set of stars, that means the same problem we are going to do in another way. That means this time I am going to group the stars like this. This is one group, this is the second group, and this is the third group. See now, here only there are 3 groups. How about here? There were 4 groups. So, here there are 3 groups. And in each of these 3 groups, how many stars are there? Yes, 4 stars are there. So, 4 stars in each group. 4 stars in each. Now, how do you calculate the total number of stars using a multiplication sentence? Yes, 3 groups are there. So, you start like this 3 times. And how many in each group? 4 in each group. 3 times 4. 3 times 4, how do you write it in repeated addition? 1 time 4 plus 2 time 4 plus a third time 4. So, 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So, here again the answer is 12, and that is no surprise. Why? Because you can see they are both the same. So, here the answer is 12, here the answer is 12. But what did we, where did we notice a difference here? Yes, in the multiplication sentence, here it is 3 into 4. Why? Because here are only 3 groups. Here there were 4 groups. So, the multiplication sentence was 4 into 3 here. Here it is 3 into 4. I hope this example is clear to you. Now we are moving on to a similar example. So, here is your next example. As in the previous example, this is the same as this. I have just made two copies of the same thing. You can see triangles here. Which shape is this? Yes, a triangle. This set of triangles, we are going to see how many triangles are there in total, and moreover we are going to write the multiplication sentence here, right? So, we are going to group these. Let's see how to group them. Shall we group them like this time? So, another group, another group, another group. So, how many groups? 4 different groups. 4 groups. Now, how many triangles are there inside each group? 1, 2. So, in each group, how many are there? Yes, 2 triangles are there in each group. So, I am going to write it like this. 4 groups, 2 triangles in each. 2 triangles in each. 4 groups, 2 triangles in each. Now, how do we write the multiplication sentence? This is easy for you now, right? 4 groups means 4 times. In each group 2. So, 4 times 2. How do you write 4 times 2 in repeated addition? 1 time, 2 time, 3rd time, and a 4th time. 4 times 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay. So, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So, how many triangles are there altogether? Yes, 8 triangles are there altogether. So, here the multiplication sentence is 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Now, let us see what is different about the second set. Now, here I am going to group them in a different way. That is all. I am going to group the same thing in a different way. And how do I group them now? I am planning to group them like this. 1, 2. Now, there are how many groups? Only 2 groups. And how many triangles are there in each group? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triangles in each. 4 triangles in each. Now, 2 groups, 4 triangles in each. How do you write the multiplication sentence here? Yes, 2 times 4. 2 times 4 means like this. 1 time 4 plus another time 4. 2 times 4. 4 plus 4, and you know the answer. 4 plus 4 is 8. So, here you got 8 triangles in total. Here also you got 8 triangles in total. It is the same picture after all, but we have made 2 different multiplication sentences. That is because you have grouped them differently each of the time. So, I hope this problem was also clear to you. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to solve a few practice problems that will help learn the chapter more thoroughly. What we are going to do next is we are going to solve a few practice problems. Okay, as you can see on the screen, this is the question. Write the following in a repeated addition form. You already know what repeated addition form is, not explaining it any further. So, let us start with question number A. We are asked to write this in repeated addition form. It is very easy, no? 3 times 4. How do you write this in repeated addition form? 3 times 4. So, 4 plus 4 plus 4. Yes, This is the repeated addition form. 3 times 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 times 4. Okay. So, let us see the next question. 4 times 5. 4 times 5 means you add 5 how many times? 4 times. Yes. So, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. How many times did we add 5? 4 times. So, that is 4 times 5 and this is how you write it in the repeated addition form. Yes. Now, the third question. 6 times 2. 6 times 2. Let us see. 1 time, 2 time, 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time, 6th time. Are we there? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2. This is how you write the repeated addition form. So, the last question here. 7 times 8. 7 times 8. How do you write that? 8. Second time. 3rd time. 4th time. 5th time. 6th time and 7th time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 8 we have repeatedly added. This is how you write in repeated addition form. Is it clear to all? Okay. Now we are going to see the last set of problems for this chapter. So, here we have the final set of problems in this chapter. You can see on the screen the question. Write the following in multiplication form. See how it is different? The last one was in repeated addition form. Here it is in multiplication form. What is the first question? 3 plus 3. So, how do you solve this? 3. This you can visualize or you can think of it like this. 2 groups, 3 in each, right? Yes. 2 groups, 3 in each. How do you write that in multiplication form? 2 groups, 2 times 3. 2 times 3. See how many 3's were here? 2 times 3 were there. So, 2 times 3. Clear? Yes. Now, B. 8 plus 8 plus 8. So, how many groups are here or how many times 8 is being added here? 3 times. So, you write it like this. 3 times 8. Clear? This is how you write the multiplication form. Third question. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. How many times 6 is being added here? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So, how do you write the multiplication form? 4 times 6. Very good. So, 4 times 6. This is how you write the multiplication form. We have come to the very last problem. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. How do you write this in multiplication form? Let us see how many 2's are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 2 is being repeatedly added. So, how do you write the multiplication sentence? 7 times 2. Yes, that is how you write the multiplication form. So, I hope these questions were clear to you. So, with that, we have come to the end of the chapter, Introduction to Multiplication. I hope the concept of multiplication and how to write multiplication sentences were clear to all of you. Thank you.